One of the most requested videos to date is to put together a video on compact screwdrivers. Impact drivers are great, but they're way too large for many applications. So today we're going to test all the big brands, Milwaukee, Dewalt, Makita, and Bosch, and we're also going to include some lesser known brands such as Pink Power. So let's get the testing underway and see which brand is the best. We'll see which screwdriver delivers the most torque. We'll also see which one works the fastest under load. Finally, we'll torture test each one of these screwdrivers in a very grueling endurance test. At a price of only $20, the least expensive brand we'll be testing is made by Black & Decker. It comes with a 2-year warranty or a 30-day money-back guarantee. 3 times faster than manual driving. 60% more reach with bit extender. It also includes some bits. The screwdriver kit comes with 4 batteries. The Black & Decker even includes an LED work light. The Black & Decker brand is made in China. Let's compare the noise of the screwdrivers with the sound meter placed 24 inches from the tool. And the Black & Decker is pretty quiet at only 68 decibels. The Black & Decker claims to drive screws 3 times faster than by hand, and it definitely seems to be true at 198 no-load RPM. At a price of $24 or $4 more than the Black & Decker is this Teccpo brand. 4-volt lithium-ion 1500 mAh battery. 2-year warranty. No-load speed 220 RPM. We're going to test that. Max torque, 44.24 inch-pounds. We're going to test that too. The switch above the trigger controls the direction of the screwdriver. LED lights, battery life indicator. The Black & Decker did not include rechargeable batteries, but the Teccpo can be recharged just using a USB device. The Teccpo brand is made in China. The kit comes with a bit holder as well as a bunch of different bits. The Teccpo is 2 decibels louder than the Black & Decker at 70 decibels. The Teccpo advertises 220 RPM no-load speed, but it came up short at only 194. At a price of $25.47 is this 45-piece Teccpo screwdriver kit. Up to 6 Newton meters of torque. The Teccpo does have a light, but it's on the bottom handle of the screwdriver. 4-volt battery. The kit does include the USB cable that's needed to charge the screwdriver. The kit also includes a bit holder as well as quite a few other bits and sockets. The Teccpo has a locking bit holder. The Teccpo is made in China. The Teccpo is quite a bit quieter than the Black & Decker and the Teccpo at only 61 decibels. The Teccpo is the slowest yet at only 177 RPM. At a price of $28 is this 4-volt Skil rechargeable screwdriver. USB charging cable, 9-piece bit kit, 5-year warranty, 230 RPM. Unlike the other brands we tested, the Skil has a circuit sensor technology. You simply hold down this button, you place the screwdriver up against a possible power source. It detects electrical current and outlet switches and fixtures. The Skil brand is made in China. 68 decibels for the Skil, the same as the Black & Decker. The Skil claims to make 230 RPM and came very close at 227, which is the best yet. At a price of $29 is this Tacklife cordless screwdriver. It's a 30-piece kit. 3.6 volts, 2000 mAh battery, maximum torque 4 Newton meters or 35 inch-pounds, 31-piece bit kit, USB charging cable. A very nice feature of the Tacklife is that it includes a clutch to help you prevent causing damage to a sensitive fastener. For reaching tight areas, you can also adjust the angle of the handle. The Tacklife also has an extra flashlight at the bottom of the handle. The Tacklife brand is made in China. 68 decibels for the Tacklife, and the Tacklife is the slowest yet at 175 RPM. At a price of $30 is this Pink Power 3.6 cordless electric screwdriver. Powerful tools for women. Powerful 3.6 volt motor. The handle rotates 180 degrees. LED battery power indicator. 11-piece bit kit. Instead of including just a USB cable, the Pink Power comes with its own charger. No load speed, 200 RPM. One of our viewers suggested her Pink Power screwdriver would crush the Dewalt and the Milwaukee. We're going to test that. The Pink Power brand is made in China. The Pink Power is the quietest yet at only 60 decibels. The Pink Power claims to make 200 RPM, but it only made 136, the slowest screwdriver yet. Coming in at $38 is this Worx brand. Semi-automatic driver, 4-volt max lithium. It claims to be fully loaded. Maximum torque, 27 inch-pounds. Battery charger, no load speed, 230 RPM. The screw holder can easily be removed. To change out the type of bit driver, just go ahead and pull back on the slide cover, rotate the bit cartridge, and push the slide cover back into position. The Worx brand is made in China. The Worx is the 3rd quietest yet at only 63 decibels. The Worx came very close to meeting its 230 RPM rating at 218. At a price of $40 is this NoCry brand. Up to 88 inch-pounds of torque. 7.2 volt, 1500 mAh battery. Up to 230 RPM. 31-piece driver set. Flexible screwdriver extension. Includes a built-in flashlight. Unlike the other brands, the NoCry also includes both a clutch as well as a variable speed trigger. 4-year limited warranty. The NoCry brand is made in China. The NoCry is the 2nd loudest yet at 70 decibels. The NoCry has a variable speed trigger and it offers very good low RPM control at only 16. The fastest the NoCry would spin is 224 RPM, which is very close to its 230 rating. At a price of $40 is this Hybro electric and manual screwdriver. 3.6 volt, 280 RPM. up to 18 inch-pounds of torque, up to 88 inch-pounds in manual mode. USB cable, 4 driver bits. The Hybro brand is definitely the most compact screwdriver that we'll be testing. The Hybro brand is made in Korea, and the Hybro tied with the Pink Power for the quietest screwdriver at only 60 decibels. The Hybro did come up a little bit short of its 280 RPM rating at only 247. Coming in at $50 is this Ryobi brand, 4-volt lithium-ion, tri-beam LED, battery charger, 4-volt 1.3 amp-hour battery, 2-speed gearbox, 200 and 600 RPM. The switch at the top allows you to change drill speeds. The screwdriver is made in Vietnam. The battery, the charger, and the screwdriver bits are made in China. The Ryobi is pretty average at 68 decibels. The Ryobi is way below its 200 RPM rating in first gear at only 143. It's supposed to produce 600 RPM in second gear, but it only made 426. At a price of $59 is this Metabo HPT, 3.6 volt. The battery charger is pretty big, 5.4 watt-hour battery. The Metabo comes with 2 batteries. The Metabo does include a clutch. Lithium-ion lifetime tool warranty. No load speed 260 and 780 RPM. Maximum torque 44 inch-pounds. The Metabo brand is made in China. Metabo is slightly louder than average at 69 decibels. At 204 RPM in first gear, the Metabo came up short of reaching its 260 RPM rating. It's supposed to make 780 RPM in second gear, but it came up short again at only 620 RPM. At a price of $74 is this Dewalt gyroscopic inline screwdriver kit. No load speed up to 430 RPM. Battery charger, 8-volt battery. The gyroscopic technology takes some getting used to. When in a straight up and down position, the screwdriver doesn't rotate. If you rotate the Dewalt to the right, it rotates in a forward direction. If you rotate to the left, reverse direction. Tool and accessory made in China. Just like the Metabo, the Dewalt is slightly louder than the average at 69 decibels. The Dewalt offers variable speed, and the slowest it would spin is 34 RPM. The Dewalt was very close to meeting its 430 RPM rating at 419. At a price of $87 is this Bosch brand, 44 inch-pounds of torque, 3.6 volts, 360 RPM, USB cable. The Bosch brand has an adjustable clutch, forward and reverse directions, and the button activates the screwdriver. The Bosch brand is made in Malaysia. The Bosch is quieter than average at only 64 decibels. The Bosch only made 334 RPM, which is short of its 360 RPM rating. At $89, the Makita brand is the second most expensive brand that we'll be testing, 3.6 volts. The kit includes 80 different drivers, battery charger, 1.5 amp-hour battery. The Makita brand is made in China. The Makita is the loudest yet at 71 decibels. The Makita topped out at 201 RPM, which is quite a bit slower than the other more expensive brands. And the most expensive brand we'll be testing at $139 is this Milwaukee brand, Red Lithium 2.0. Up to 2 times more runtime, up to 20% more power, 2 times more recharges, 44 inch-pounds of torque. Auto stop 21 clutch settings. 2-speed gearbox 0 to 200 and 0 to 600 RPM. Battery charger, 1 2 amp hour 4-volt battery. Speed 1 and 2. Battery life indicator, 5-year warranty. Tool and charger are made in China. Battery cells made in Korea or Malaysia with additional processing in China. The Milwaukee's noise level on average was 68 decibels. In first gear, it made 210 RPM, beating its 200 RPM rating. It also beat its second gear 600 RPM rating at 610. If tool noise is a factor in your purchasing decision, the Pink Power and the Hybro are the quietest at 60 decibels, Teccpo 61, Worx 63, and the Bosch 64. Tool RPM has a pretty big impact on productivity, and the Metabo came in on top at 620, but the Milwaukee did nearly as well at 610. Ryobi came in third at 426, Dewalt 419, and the Bosch 334. While all the screwdrivers are relatively light, the Hybro is by far the lightest at only 161 grams, Skil 220, Bosch 303, Black & Decker 335, and Makita 365 grams. If you need a battery screwdriver for tight spaces, then tool length might be a factor. The Hybro is the shortest at 5.63 inches, Teccpo and Ryobi 5.75, Pink Power 6.25, and Skil 6.75 inches. If you're working with delicate fasteners, you're going to want a clutch that disengages the drill at a very low level of torque. Only 6 of the brands have clutches. The 1/4 inch torque adapter that I'll be using is designed to pick up very low levels of torque. Let's test the Teccpo brand first. 6 inch-pounds is the lowest setting, which is quite a bit of torque. The Tacklife did a better job than the Teccpo, releasing at 4 inch-pounds on the lowest clutch setting. The NoCry clutch disengaged at 5 inch-pounds, which isn't quite as good as the Tacklife. If you need a screwdriver for delicate work, the Metabo is the best yet, with the torque adapter showing 0 inch-pounds. The Bosch performed equally as well as the Metabo at 0 inch-pounds. The Milwaukee also performed very well, coming to a stop at 0 inch-pounds. So if you need a screwdriver for delicate work, the Metabo, Bosch, and Milwaukee stopped applying torque at a threshold too low for the torque adapter to calculate. The Tacklife released at 4 inch-pounds, NoCry 5, and the Teccpo 6. The next test is a speed test to see how quickly each one of these brands can drive in an 1.25 inch drywall screw. Testing the Black & Decker. Unfortunately, the Black & Decker just didn't have enough power to drive in the screw. Testing the Teccpo. And a Teccpo has plenty of power to drive in the screws and average 3.25 seconds. Testing the Teccpo. And the Teccpo seems to be struggling a little and average 3.81 seconds, about half a second slower than the Teccpo. Testing the Skil. And the Skil just didn't have enough power to drive in the screw. Testing the Tacklife. And the Tacklife made easy work of all 3 screws with an average time of 3.16 seconds. Let's see if Pink Power can beat the Tacklife. And the Pink Power averaged nearly twice as long as the Tacklife at 6.11 seconds. Testing the Worx. And the Worx had an average time of 3.39 seconds, which is slightly slower than the Tacklife. Testing the Hybro. The Hybro just doesn't have enough power to drive in the screw. Testing Ryobi. And the Ryobi really seems to struggle under load, averaging 5.15 seconds, which is nearly 2 seconds slower than the leader. And the Ryobi just doesn't have enough power to drive in the screw in 2nd gear. Testing the NoCry. And the NoCry is the fastest yet at only 2.59 seconds on average. Testing Metabo. And the Metabo is the 2nd fastest yet at 2.9 seconds. Testing Metabo in 2nd gear. And the Metabo is by far the fastest brand at 1.63 seconds on average, but it definitely seems to be out of power by the time it's finished driving the screw. And the Dewalt is the fastest yet, averaging 1.33 seconds, and seems to have plenty of power to handle an even larger fastener. Testing Bosch. And the Bosch is definitely faster than average at 1.99 seconds, but Dewalt holds on to the lead. Testing Makita. And the Makita averaged 2.96 seconds, which isn't nearly as fast as the Metabo, Dewalt, or Milwaukee. Testing Milwaukee in 1st gear. And the Milwaukee was faster than the Makita at 2.84 seconds, but that's not nearly as fast as the Dewalt. Let's try 2nd gear. And the Milwaukee successfully drove in 2 out of 3 screws with an average of 1.74 seconds. So the Dewalt came out on top at 1.33 seconds. The Metabo came in 2nd at 1.63 seconds, making use of 2nd gear. The Milwaukee came in 3rd at 1.74, Bosch 1.99, and NoCry 2.59 seconds. Let's test the maximum torque of each one of these screwdrivers using this 5-inch lag bolt. I'll drive in the lag bolt until the screwdriver comes to a stop, and we'll see how much torque it's made. I installed new batteries in the Black & Decker, and all the other batteries are fully charged. I'll place an inline torque adapter in position so we can keep track of the maximum working torque during the test. 9 inch-pounds for the Black & Decker. Testing Teccpo. And a Teccpo is supposed to produce 44 inch-pounds of torque but only made 21. Testing the Teccpo. And the Teccpo is advertised as being capable of 53 inch-pounds. Unfortunately, the Teccpo came up short at only 19 inch-pounds. Testing the Skil. And the Skil really struggled at only 7 inch-pounds. And the Tacklife is rated for 35 inch-pounds and did the best yet at 27. Testing Pink Power. And the Pink Power claims to have a powerful 3.6 volt motor. 16 inch-pounds. The Worx is supposed to make 27 inch-pounds and it came very close at 23. So Tacklife is still in the lead. The NoCry claims to make a very impressive 88 inch-pounds of torque. And the NoCry did the best yet at 35 inch-pounds. The Hybro is rated for 18 inch-pounds of torque and came up short at only 6 inch-pounds. Testing Ryobi. And the Ryobi really struggled at only 15 inch-pounds. The Metabo brand claims to make 44 inch-pounds. 25 inch-pounds for the Metabo. The Dewalt doesn't provide any information on the maximum torque rating. 21 inch-pounds. The Bosch brand claims to deliver 44 inch-pounds of torque. 21 inch-pounds. The Makita doesn't provide any information on maximum torque. 27 inch-pounds for the Makita. The Milwaukee is supposed to deliver 44 inch-pounds. 20 inch-pounds for the Milwaukee. I'll see if I can do any better by hand. And it took me right at 2 minutes. This will definitely give you forearms like Popeye. 63 inch-pounds. So the NoCry came in on top at 35 inch-pounds, Tacklife and Makita tied for second at 27, Metabo 25, Worx 23, Teccpo, Dewalt, and Bosch 21 inch-pounds. Let's see if these screwdrivers can handle a pretty decent load for 5 minutes straight using this vintage Milwaukee drill. It takes quite a bit of torque to spin over the motor, so we'll just hook on and see how each brand performs. Okay, the Black & Decker barely survived the 5-minute test and was spinning very slowly. Testing Teccpo. Okay, the Teccpo survived the 5 minutes, but the battery pack seemed pretty warm. Teccpo. The Teccpo survived the test. Testing Skil. Unfortunately, the Skil doesn't have enough power to spin the drill over. Testing Tacklife. Tacklife survived the test. Testing Pink Power. And the Pink Power began smoking at 3.5 minutes into the test. Okay, the Pink Power survived the test, but unfortunately it's smoking pretty badly. Testing the Worx. The Worx survived the 5-minute test, but it was really spinning pretty slowly by the time the test ended. Testing NoCry. The NoCry did very well, but unfortunately it quit just before 5 minutes. Testing the Hybro. Unfortunately, the Hybro just doesn't have enough torque to spin over the drill. Testing Ryobi. The Ryobi survived 5 minutes. Testing Metabo. The Metabo survived the 5-minute test and actually seems to perform very well. The Dewalt definitely started off the fastest, and it definitely seems to have done the best so far. Testing the Bosch. Okay, the Bosch survived the 5-minute test. Testing Makita. The Makita held up just fine. Testing Milwaukee. The Milwaukee survived the test and held up just fine. While none of the brands offer every option, you might find some options more important than others based upon the application. For example, variable speed or high quality clutch are a big help when dealing with delicate fasteners, and less than half the brands have one of those options. Also, a locking bit holder may be more valuable in some circumstances. It's very hard to declare an outright winner when you consider there's so much variation between the different brands. I really like the Metabo. At only around $70, it comes with 2 batteries and it performed extremely well in the showdown. For $40, I really like the NoCry. It's very hard to beat the torque. 35 inch-pounds, it came in on top. I like the Dewalt. It seems like the best overall performer. However, I really don't like the gyroscopic design of the tool. All the videos in this channel, including this one, are viewer suggested. So if you have a video idea, I hope you take time to leave a comment. Thanks so much for watching. Please take care, and I look forward to next time.